Boom!
Woo!
Boom! I like to run 5 miles right now.
No, you know
Not.
what's so good about that? You know what is so good about that intro? Aloha, everyone. Welcome. I just want to say that intro allowed me to take a shower, get myself nice and dry, blow dry my hair, whatever hair get left, iron my shirt, wash my socks and my shorts, get everything all set up at just perfect timing. And come on and look, brand
Fresh,
spanking new.
fresh, fresh, fresh. For those of you that wondering, what the heck? I know a lot of you saw that in the past. Some of you haven't. But Charlie called me and said that he was on his way home and that he
Yeah.
was going to jump on late. So I figured, you know what? It's not. It's the show is not the same without Charlie. So I figured, I'll play the 5 minute intro. And as soon as I started the intro, Charlie popped in. But anyway, I enjoy that. Not because of that little Yoda or whatever Boda or whatever his name is, but the music. I think most of you know already that Rocky, the original Rocky, is my favorite movie of all time because of the message of the movie, the underdog, the fact that if you put in hard work, it was just a fabulous movie, and the music is the music score of that movie was, I think, it won many awards. So the music is good. I get that little thing in the whatever, that flying saucer, whatever it is. I'm not a Star Wars fan, except the first one. I only saw the first one, but anyway,
Hmm.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I hope you guys did too. But anyway, thank you, Charlie, for making it tonight.
Hmm.
How you
Welcome, brother.
stay?
Well, I'm doing fine. Today was a very long day, and again, I want to say thank you to the many local residents who stopped by, dropped off their loved ones, taking off. It's just day after day, just a lot of travelers going back and coming in wherever. But I want to pay a special thanks to the local uh, residents who they don't give any of the curbside officers a hard time. They know that they're just trying to do their job. And the thing about it is, we're just trying to make everyone safe because there's so many travelers walking along that sidewalk. Some of them forget that they just have to be a little patient. And what happens is they step off, and they don't even look in the back. The direction of the cars coming. And but thank be to many local residents, and I gotta say some travelers too. Just being patient is, I just can't thank you enough. So I just want to say mahalo, and wherever you're traveling, have safe travels. That's all I can say. Have safe travels.
Yeah, I gotta be
And
safe, man.
to
Gotta
the
be
people
safe.
that's coming to our island too, follow the rules.
Yeah. Why is it so
Follow
hot?
the rules. Just follow the
Jesus
rules.
Christ! I tell you, folks, you guys. You know, um, somebody just asked about international travel. The international travel is open
Honolulu.
now.
Oh, it's Honolulu.
Well, here too. We don't have any direct from the
Yeah,
international,
yeah.
but we're getting the connections. We're getting the connections from L.A., from San Fran, from other states that they come into, and then they come straight here. So and those guys are treated just as if they were United States travelers. So
We got a whole
um,
we got a whole plane load from Ooh Now Now. You ever heard of that place?
where?
Ooh Now Now.
Nah,
Neither did I, so I just asking.
yeah. I don't either, man. But I know one thing, and I just saw somebody post about Austria. I was over at a friend's house on Saturday night and met this amazing gentleman whose home country is Austria. He's been here forever. He works at the UH system, but he was telling me about how Austria has just shut down. Everything
Oh
just
yeah.
shut down.
Mm-hmm.
European
Yep.
countries shutting down because the cases are crazy.
Yep.
Now, I think it was either last night or the night before, they were talking to the European consulate, who's, I guess, based out of California, and he was so happy to report that to expect a huge amount of European travelers coming in from Europe to Hawaii because they want to come to a safe place. So
You know,
it's
it's winter.
yes,
It's
it's
winter.
freezing.
It's
It's exactly what the
freezing,
guy said. He said it's
and
cold.
they're gonna come here. But you know, whether we have the ability to stop it or not, you know, the bottom line is this: we just have to be careful. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you know the good thing is, you know, when you walk around the airport now, I start to giggle. I see people who you would never expect, just like holding their positions, like standing back, keeping on distance, using their bags. You know their rollaways,
mhm,
pushing them ahead of them to give them that 6 foot distance.
yeah.
I mean, real akamai. So I said, hey,
You
right on.
know, Charlie. Before the show, when you called me, we chatted a little bit about three personal friends of ours, very good friends of ours, right now sick with COVID. Um,
Yeah,
you
unfortunate.
know, unfortunately, and I guess my point is that this virus is still here. I mean, and if you listen to all the experts, they just remind us every day, whether you're vaccinated or not. Everyone's susceptible and vulnerable, and we're starting to get complacent. I think a lot of us are starting to get complacent, and because we're tired and we're vaccinated, boosted, but the reality is that this virus is still around. It's not going anywhere. It's still causing some major problems throughout this world. And now is not the time, as Charlie said. We just got to do what we got to do to be safe. And I don't know how hard that is to understand. Uh, if it was a hepatitis outbreak, measles outbreak, I think a lot of people would be taking it a little more serious. But until it happens to someone close to your family or someone Charlie, we talked about the clusters, the clusters out of one church, and that cluster is still growing. Church, because that's where people go and they feel like they can unwind and relax, and that's one of the venues that create a lot of spread, and it's a rough thing. It's not like you want to go against the church, but the reality is the virus does not care if you're in church, at the beauty shop, at a restaurant, a bar. Doesn't care. It doesn't care, and it just takes one. And the problem is with the for vaccinated people, right? Many of us may get COVID and never know it, because we're asymptomatic, mild symptoms. I spoke to two people today that they said they caught cold over the weekend, caught a cold over the weekend, got tested negative, but the initial reaction is, oh damn it, COVID, but it wasn't. So now we get the flu season, the catch cold season, and a lot of people are going to work and because they got the sniffles, because they don't think it's COVID, but all the while the virus is spreading, and that's what happens.
Hmm.
So we just gotta be smart, people. You sick, stay home. Stay
You know,
home.
I got this question, this nagging question. We have experts on one side, then you have experts on the other side. Yet you have experts that cannot agree. So, what expert do you listen to? And say both of them have a logical approach to this whole thing. What do you do?
John Canapo, I
No,
cannot show.
seriously,
You
what do
know,
you do about the whole thing?
you we I think for me personally, I do my own due diligence. I listen to experts on both sides, but you match up what the experts are saying to the data that is available, the most current data, not YouTube. I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about the data that is being put out by these universities, these university health centers. Dr. Jerome Kim. Those kinds of people. I think for me, as I told one of my cousins, do you know personally these people that are putting out these um, uh, YouTube videos? You know him personally? No, they don't know. Yeah, well, I know the experts that I listen to personally. I mean, like we know them, Charlie. We've got to know them really well, and we know their credentials, we know their background, we know their experience, and what would be the motivation, Charlie? What would be the motivation for an expert that has reputation, credible, has a practice? What would be their motivation to go out and uh, get people to do something that may hurt them? That's the way I look at it. Well, I could be completely wrong, Charlie, but that's my choice, right? That is my choice of who I want to believe. The difference, though, is even if I didn't believe the experts, even if I was a YouTube fanatic and I chose all the videos that said the virus was fake and masks don't help, and out of respect for the people that I am around, I would wear a mask. I would keep my social distance. See, I would still do that, even if I was a non believer, because I know that if I didn't do that, it would make others feel uncomfortable. Because the mask is not that, it's a pain in the okole, but it's not that freaking bad. So that's I guess that's how I would respond to that. But you're right. I mean, because some of the experts on both sides are very convincing.
Well, the reason I bring that up is a long time ago when I first started off my police career, I had this incident, and it just goes to show the point I'm trying to make that there was a car following another car, and the line on the highway was dotted, so therefore the car in the back could overtake as long as it was done safely. And the car in the front is coming up to a break in the road that signals that he can make a left turn, and he proceeds, and his car overtaking nails him. Okay, so I thought that I'm making a left turn because he's in front of the car overtaking. He had to clear, the way, and many of the officers at the time, I asked them, they said, yeah, how far back was the car? And I said, well, maybe it's 1, 2 car lengths, but when you slow down, you make that left turn, right? Lo and behold, I go to court, I testify. The judge corrects me and says, whenever you're making a turn, you got to make sure that traffic in all directions is clear before you initiate the turn. Now, who would have thought about that? That's the reason why I asked that question, because I thought I was right,
Hmm.
but then I was wrong.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
one of those
That,
things.
that's why we don't we always said on this show anyway. It's all about choice. We never
Hmm.
push. Yeah, we encourage people, but we don't hold anything against people that choose not to get vaccinated. But it bothers me if unvaccinated people are running around and not being safe, just as much as it bothers me vaccinated people running around not being safe as well. So we just all got to be safe. But
Hmm.
like Charlie, I was watching the news tonight, and again, going back to the message, I was watching the news. You heard the story about the Big Island girl, the little girl that got mauled by a dog,
No, I
and now
didn't. I'm
everybody's
sorry.
going. Yeah, it was on the news tonight. 6-year-old girl, if not for her 11-year-old sister running in and forcing the dog, and actually, I think she probably scared the dog away, but the damage was already done. The little girl got bit on her face, and she's messed up,
Oh boy.
almost just missed her eye. The doctor said if the lower tooth or jaw of the dog had hit, 1 inch lower, it would have killed her. It would have hit her artery. So they interviewed a police officer, a female police officer, and I couldn't see her rank in it. The name, by the time I looked up, the name had already gone. But she said, we as police officers gotta abide by the law. We cannot go off script. We gotta follow the law that's there for us. And she's saying that it's a misdemeanor when a dog bites a human, and that's so not true, right? The dangerous dog is if the dog bites someone that requires medical care, it's a felony. It's a Class C felony. But the message, you see, when you put these people out, whether it's a doctor, a police officer, or whatever, whoever it is, you cannot go out and put out this misinformation like that, because what it does, it creates this. Now there's a whole fury on the Big Island about hey, lawmakers, you guys got to go and do something. Well, no, the law is there. The law is there, and it is a felony. It's a Class C felony. Yeah, it could go up to a Class B, whatever. My point is that it's not a misdemeanor. It's a serious crime.
Hmm.
and dangerous dogs are a serious problem, not just on the Big Island, but here on Kauai as well. And responsible owners or owners need to be responsible, make sure the dogs don't get out. But it's about the message, right? You want to make sure that the message that's going out to the community is correct. And we've seen a lot of misinformation regarding COVID over the last almost 2 years. Some of them outright wrong, outright lies, and that's why it's hard, Charlie. It's hard to get the people together uh, with one objective or one motive because all of this information coming from all over. We gotta
Yep.
gotta make sure that the information is valid. But so
You
sad.
remember the time that we were chastised for asking, why is it that you cannot release information of where the COVID spread is at? Remember when we went through that whole fiasco in the very early stages? And then I got corrected by saying that, it's just a moment in time and all of this mumbo jumbo. But what's funny is we held true to what our belief was, and we just followed the science like it was being printed, not not making up something new. And lo and behold, we were considered as being one that was kind of pretty close to the cuff on this issue. Yeah, because we were able to determine whether it was HIPAA or not.
Yeah, well, we know enough of the law that it wasn't HIPAA, and yet they continue to say it was HIPAA. It was HIPAA. That was what Bruce Anderson and Sarah Park. That's how long back this went because of
Yep.
HIPAA. What a crock of crap. But even I mean even till today, you think by now 18 months or 19 whatever it is that these guys would have come together, or they should by now have some kind of protocol in place or process where the right information gets disseminated, especially from our leadership. You know, the general public, John Doe, Jane Doe, you guys can say whatever you want, believe whatever you want, share whatever you want, but the leaders, our leaders, when you get the governor saying one thing, the lieutenant governor saying another thing, the Honolulu mayor saying another thing, some of the other mayors have gone pretty quiet right now because there's not much activity other than cases. But in the lieutenant governors and the Honolulu mayor's desire to open up the state, they blatantly misinformed the public. And the governor, who I think
Mhm.
should have stood up and corrected and made the corrective statements, never did, never did. He allowed the forked tongue of the state to be put out. And I think that is the reason why, number one, a lot of people are dead today. I believe that the misinformation from some of our leaders caused a lot of people to die unnecessarily. I think the actions of our state or the inaction of our state caused a lot of people to die unnecessarily.
Yes.
And I also believe that it created the division in our community where whatever side of the coin you were on, you had someone at the state level that 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 were on your side. Let's see. Hang on, I'm trying to read these comments, but let's get some. The long ones, it's like takes a while. It's a political thing, and most of the people who are entering hospitals now have been vaccinated. Most of them are dying. Yeah, again, Veronica, I'm not sure. I guess you're from Florida, but I can tell you the statistics just came out for Hawaii. I cannot speak for Florida, and I'm not going to even argue with you or debate with you. But I will tell you that the statistics in Hawaii, not the YouTube statistics, not the Google University statistics, the statistics that come out of the Department of Health um, say completely opposite. The vast majority of people that have died, yes, vaccinated people have died in Hawaii. Don't get me wrong, but the vast majority of deaths here in Hawaii were unvaccinated people. So maybe Florida is different. Again, Veronica, I'm not going to um, argue with you, but I'm just telling you what we know. Now, some will say that the state is lying to us. That's your choice. That I mean, but I will be honest with you. I have a very good relationship with our some of our state leaders, especially in the Department of Health, and I trust them. I
Hmm.
trust them. Um, and I don't think, because I've known them for a long time, that they would lie about what's the political gain. What is the political gain from a doctor? Let's just use Dr. Behrman, for example, Charlie. What would her political gain be? And feel free, Veronica, to answer. We have very civil dialogue and debates here, so just don't get personal because you'll get booted. But yeah, we can have a very respectful debate. What is the political motivation for a health director here on Kauai to lie about the numbers that come out of Kauai? And remember now, our numbers here on Kauai are real time numbers, not 2 days old like the state. But let me just answer that for me, Veronica. What would the political benefit be for a state health director who is a medical doctor lie about numbers of people dying that can be validated through hospital employees and doctors and nurses? I'm just curious. I want to be educated just as much as everyone else. So if you can answer that, Veronica, I'd appreciate it. Because I don't see the political. I separate myself from the federal garbage that's going on in Washington D.C. I don't trust them at all. But I know one thing. And Charlie's brother died. If you don't know, Charlie's brother died from COVID. This is how this all got started. So we know the damage this virus does. But on Kauai here, what's the political? What does the doctor get a kickback every time somebody dies? Does the doctor get a kickback every? I mean, just simply not true. Simply not true. But like you said, Charlie, I could be wrong, but you got to prove me wrong. You got to prove me wrong. Not just say I saw it on YouTube.
I will say this. I still hold to the belief that what we're saying and what we're attempting to do is just keeping people safe. I will say that much because we've been down this road many, many a times, Mel, you and I, and we've seen good friends of ours just getting tagged for no reason with this virus and what it can do. And luckily, just luckily, this was before the vaccines came out. Just luckily, they were able to turn the corner and kick it. But again, some people, you know, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I cannot speak for Florida, Veronica, and I don't know, but I'd be very interested if you could send me the data from Florida, and you can send it to my private message. I will definitely investigate. Definitely investigate. I've put that out to so many people, Charlie. It's like I get so many comments about my
Hmm.
cousin this, my auntie here, my sister, my granddaughter, my blah blah blah. And I said, please send me the data. Send me the data so I can analyze the data. We'll verify and validate the data. And not one person has ever took me up on it, Charlie. Not one. Maybe Veronica will be the first.
Hmm.
I really hope so. And I don't take this in the wrong way, Veronica. We welcome you to the show and I appreciate the dialogue and the debate. But I really wanna follow up on that because see that's not in line with what people are finding out around the world. I cannot imagine Florida would be any different than Europe, Germany, Austria, and some of these other countries that have high vaccination rates. But I would definitely be interested in seeing the data, truly. And I mean that with all genuineness and sincerity. Because honestly, Charlie, I would have no problem, and Charlie knows me enough, and many of you also know me enough to know that if I was to find out that there was uh, some hanky panky going on with the reporting or some political motivations here in Hawaii, this show would make a U turn. This show would make a U turn and expose it. We would. So we were told to do certain things, borderline HIPAA, yeah, and that's not good when people are trying to require you to violate HIPAA. Health organizations getting kickbacks for diagnosis. Again, I'd really love to explore that. I really would. Charlie, you're crunching away, buddy. Mochi crunch.
No, I'm reading. That's what happens when I read something that I'm gonna crunch away.
You make everybody want to go run down to the store and buy some mochi crunch, man. Anyway, listen, we call this the village because that's what villagers do. We share, we communicate, we talk, we share ideas, we have discussions, and respectful. I always entertain and welcome the respectful dialogue. Even prior to COVID-19, had to reassess patients for Medicare. Yeah, now I'm going to agree with you there, Veronica. I will agree with you about the way the health system is set up. And I know this firsthand, right? I mean, you've been, if, and Charlie talks about his, and it's not even funny. I don't know why I'm laughing, but he talks about his stay in a hospital where they're trying to shove him a pill that is costing so much money that you can buy over the counter. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue or disagree with anyone that. No, I firmly believe that there's that kinds of things going on where they're trying to. It's about the money. It's about the money. But because I know so many people now a year and a half ago, I didn't know too many people that had gotten COVID. Fast forward to today, including my daughter, who many of us in the village are aware, and Charlie's brother, very early on. Now I know that this thing is real. It's bad, and we've lost a bunch of friends to COVID already. And as I said in the opening of the show, just today we found out three of our dear friends are positive right now as we speak. And don't ask if they're vaccinated or not. I didn't ask. I know every time I mention about somebody with COVID, were they vaccinated? Listen, like I said, it COVID attacks everybody. um, so yeah, just don't ask because I don't know the answer. So anyway, but did you mute yourself, Charlie?
Yeah, because some people offended me by saying that I eat like on boar. No, I'm only teasing. For those of you that know me, I can care less if I mute or not. I'm gonna crunch away. I'm gonna crunch away. No,
It sounds delicious, man. It really sounds
brother.
delicious.
You know, today was one of those days that I sometimes I even wonder. I said, "What did I get myself into?" You know, and so
Mhm.
and for most of the people out there in the village that knows that I'm the security manager for the Lihui Airport. But not only the Lihui Airport, I mentioned this before. It's the Lihui Airport, the Kahului Airport, Molokai, Lanai, Hilo, and Kona. So that all those airports got separated from Honolulu because the thing is so large. So if you were to look at the manpower, yeah, I got about 500-600 people under my guidance here. And sometimes I wonder, I said, man, at 62, did I do the right thing? I'm supposed to be relaxing. And I
Yeah,
said,
you just said ramp up, man.
I just said ramp up. I mean, just like my gearbox was stuck in fifth gear and the bugger never like downshift, you know what I mean? Bugger just wanted for go for the gusto. But like I've said to many of my friends, I'm not a quitter. So I'm not gonna quit. There are a lot of people that depend on you and you make good friends and you stay the duration until your time is up. So, I'm gonna be like this for a while. And that's the only reason why I'm giggling. Because I thank the good Lord that one, I was given a new lease on life. Two, I was able to avoid getting COVID, even though I feel I've come pretty darn close sometimes. Many of us have. I got to say, many of us. Because why? We don't know where it's at. But yet, I don't want to be paranoid, but yet we know it's out there. But right now, from what I've been told, is someone had asked me, "Hey, Uncle Charlie, you know, like go back play music. Remind you now, I was avid. I played all the areas on Kauai in Honolulu. I played with Cyril. I played with, open up for Maka's sons, Amy. I was very proud of the accomplishments I made because I love music. But right now, I just don't have the desire. So someone came up to me yesterday um, when I was at the store, and they said, "Uncle, you just don't like go surprise your son John Mahi and show up at Troy's and just go jam with them." And I was thinking about it, but I said, what if something happened, So that German base that I have, I just shine it and keep it for that rainy day. That if I decide to go back, I'll go back. But right now,
It'll be at the concert, Charlie. It'll be at the concert when this is all over. Yeah, it will.
yeah, yeah.
Veronica says my daughter was exposed to COVID at the height of it. She was told if no symptoms, she can come back to work. If she had symptoms, 3 days, she can come back to work. This was in the height of COVID-19. You know, Veronica, your governor is probably part of the reason why your governor. And then she goes on to say, not only my daughter-in-law works there, and there are no separate wings. Pretty much everyone is exposed in the hospital. Yeah, your governor is interesting. You know, when he came out and made it illegal for school districts to require masks in their classrooms, well, he made it illegal. He made it a crime. I knew at that point that guy he got some mental issues. Uh, he's got some issues. I mean, you know, to take away someone's right to be safe, I thought was kind of crazy. But yeah, Florida is open, wide open, and many other states. Listen, Hawaii is probably the only one left that has any type of restrictions like we do. But you know, and people wonder why our death rate is much lower than other places. Well, that's a big reason why is because we were strict and careful from the beginning. So yeah, Florida's interesting place, great place. I mean, I've been there a few times, and I love it, but I would not go there during COVID. And that's why they're all coming to Hawaii because Hawaii is safe. Hawaii is safe, and that's how they're promoting it. But anyway, so I got to switch gears real quick, Charlie, only because I like kind of push your buttons a little bit and having some fun with you because you're in a good mood. I get my notes over here. That's why I keep looking off because I get my notes over here.
As always.
The traffic. The traffic. You made a post today about the bridge, the Hanapepe Bridge. Um, and I was actually, after I hung up with you today, I went and read some of the comments. Wow. See, COVID has pissed off a lot. Everybody's so pissed off that they see a post and they're gonna fire back. And I saw some posts about, anyway. So the state puts up a new bridge. They build a temporary bridge. What was your post, Charlie? What was your post? What was your
Well,
common sense, reasonable post about?
well, looking at it, I just felt it made sense to leave it up, to give the West Side an alternative should something happen, because we've experienced, not we, but the people on the East Side coming into town have experienced it numerous times when the road is closed down fronting the golf course, hours on end. And yet there's a lot of cane roads in the back belonging to the different property owners, right? But there's always that question of who's going to accept responsibility, who's going to, this and that. So my only comment was, they got the bridge up. Why tear them down? That was just my feeling. And people chimed in. Some agreed, some didn't agree. Some felt that, you know, there was too many Facebook experts. No, that's not what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is, what do you folks think? If it gotta take them down, if for whatever reason, then fine, take them down. But for one short span like that, right? For one short span, you look at Japan. They get an area that's about what, uh, a half a mile, maybe a quarter mile of roadway that's sunk, and they show film laps of little over 24 hours. They stabilized that area and brought it back so that traffic could open up on a major thoroughfare. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why it took us, what, less than 100 yards of that bridge, maybe about 100 yards, 3 years. 3 years. So we spent that much time. Why not leave the temporary bridge in place and use it for if there's an emergency? Or someone said liability. I said, okay, what liability?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Charles, you know, we have opportunities. Yeah, in life we have opportunities, and that's where the short-sightedness of our state, and in some cases our county, we had an opportunity when we had to redo the bridge, and we had an opportunity to, in the planning, to keep the temporary bridge for an emergency use only. We had that opportunity, and they didn't take up that opportunity. They didn't do it. They created this project so where after the new bridge is built, remember now, this is the second time they had to rebuild that bridge twice because they had make mistake the first time. They had make You guys realize, right? They had to rip out all the concrete they had spent a year or so on because they did them wrong. So this is a second attempt, and I guess it worked. And but why wouldn't you create in the plan the where we would keep that temporary bridge as an emergency bridge? You know this, Charlie, and a lot of our viewers that had followed the county council when I was on there. I had been advocating through several mayors um, about opening up the cane roads, getting rights of access, taking on the liability when you did open the road, because it's insane to have to block up traffic. Imagine if there's a tsunami or a hurricane or a natural disaster, and now you got to mobilize all the people from the North Shore to safety, and you cannot because you get 2 lanes of road. The cane roads are there. Getting emergency access is not difficult. In fact, while I was on the council, I had already spoken to the Department of Hawaiian Homes, Grove Farm, the state, and we had all the OKs to open up the cane road as a permanent bypass. And no one wants to do it at the time. And it's not this mayor. They said, "Oh, Mel, no more lights on that bypass. No more lights." Well, no more lights on the damn highway either. I don't know if you guys noticed. Kuyo Highway, but a golf course, no more lights. And those guys fly 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. This road is just a temporary emergency road that would be used just to get people on their way. This is the point, Charlie. Kauai is growing in people, but not in size. We're not expanding the infrastructure to accommodate the additional bodies. And with COVID, you know how many more babies were born? You had a lot more babies born because people stayed home. So we're not going to get any less vehicles. I know you got some of the people out there saying, no, Mel, we got to get them to ride buses. We got to get them to ride bicycles. Guys, I'm a realist. We better start looking at opening up additional lanes. because we just the other day 2.5 hours to Color Hill because they were weed whacking the freaking grass. 2.5 hours coming back from Color Hill. Actually, it was 2 hours going, 2.5 hours coming back. Two times we saw people leave their vehicles to go relieve themselves in the bushes. One was an elderly couple for cutting grass. Charlie, wasn't one car accident
Yeah.
for weed whacking. For weed whacking. Now, that's not acceptable in my book. That's not acceptable. Guys, you let the thing overgrow so much that you anyway, this is the deal. We gotta start looking at alternative routes because we cannot handle the number of people on this island. So the bridge, that was an opportunity because we knew what we were gonna do. We knew that we was gonna have a bridge there. They should have just incorporated it into the plan and keep that bridge as an emergency bridge. So I agree with you 100%. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not an engineer, and I'm not one scientist, and I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a doctor, but I get common sense.
Yeah. And it's I ride the highway every day. I get up at 3 a.m. I leave the house by 4, or sometimes even earlier. And to me, the ride is nice because it's quiet. It's hardly any cars on the road until you reach halfway bridge that area. And for some reason, choke load cars heading west side must be the early workers at PMRF. So you just want to be safe because I have a tendency of looking down at the center line just to see where the opposite headlights are shining down. And let me tell you, it's very close to that center line. So what do? I move over to give me that buffer, right? But the
Mhm.
grass is so overgrown. You don't know the difference between the grass and one guardrail.
Yeah, yeah.
And every place you look, get rat bite. Folks, rat bite in the old days was when you try to cut your own hair. You miss one spot, you keep on going back and forth. Ah, yeah, ball ahead, one spot. That's on rat bite. Well, along these guardrails get rat bites. Part of the grass missing because why? People smack the guardrail.
They think it's a place they can pull over, Charlie,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you cannot see the guardrail, you know.
Or even
And
when you pass a tunnel of trees and you're heading towards Lihui, or even when you're coming back, you're heading westbound. Right before you reach the tunnel of trees, some people pull off the side, right? Because they see the
Mhm.
grass is tall. They pull off the side. Boop. It reminds me of when I went to Montana. I pull on the side of the highway. I go, oh, look at the cute tree. I see the top of the tree like a baby tree, like this. So I tell my friend with me, because we ain't go up there go buy mules. I tell him, yeah, go stand by the tree, go take a picture so I can send them back home to my wife. Brother, I never know that was the top of the tree. Because when I step on the snow, I will disappear all the way down.
Yeah, yeah. That's what these people experience every day with our guardrails. Thank God it's on guardrail.
Yeah.
It's it's crazy, and it all comes down to again, right? Before in the old days, they used to go with the truck and spray the poison,
Mm,
and then oh, the poison is bad, people gonna die. So, but they have organic herbicides now. They have these herbicides that are safe. It's a little more expensive, but if you let the bush grow to a forest, then it's gonna take a lot more work to knock them down. You know,
mhm.
so if we properly maintain on a regular basis, then it doesn't get to a point where you got to get these poor guys out there with weed whackers because they cannot spray. You know, there was a time where when we were still spraying and they would put up signs to let the people know we're going to be spraying during this time, and if
Yep.
this is where you stay away if like get sprayed. But the natural herbicides, the organic herbicides, which if you read the label, it still kills you. It's just but that's supposedly safe. But that is what we need. We need to go back to spraying the grass. You got to knock them down and then you can maintain them. So now what we do, we block the road. And listen, Charlie, 4 miles long was the holdup. 4 miles. I was already thinking I'm gonna have to hit the bush pretty soon. And this just what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I felt sorry for that old lady that I saw run to the bush, and I saw the husband stand up. Obviously, he was peeing, and then I saw her go down. I figured either she peeing or number two.
Mm,
But that's not. No one should have to do that because somebody cutting grass. Terrible.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just that's the kinds of things that drive me nuts, though. And then you I wonder how many people miss their appointments. Doctor's appointments, whatever kind of appointments. I wonder how many people miss their flights. Uh, it's crazy. It's crazy. And my partner called the Department of Transportation. I was shocked they even answered the phone. And the lady was very nice, and you could tell by her voice that she agreed with him. But she's just the secretary, right? She's just taking the poor thing. She goes, "Yeah, I've been getting a lot of calls today." And they did cancel the work for the rest of the week because you cannot do that. That's just not what you do. Why you guys not do midnight? Oh, we cannot because of the birds. Because we cannot put on the portable lights at night to light up the work area so they can do their work at night because it's bad for the birds. So
Talking
we
about the
cannot use
birds,
lights.
talking about birds, because I have to oversee that program down at the airport about the birds. It's interesting to know that they have a start period and one cutoff period for the birds. Like they know exactly after this particular date, you're not going to see no more birds.
Yeah.
Now, trust me, folks, I wouldn't chance it because the fines are just too great. The fines are just
No.
too great.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
you can be one good-hearted person. Oh, poor birdie. Take care of him. Take him to the fire department. That bird dies. Guess what? You stuck with paying on fine just for being a good Samaritan. So I wouldn't chance it. It's just too expensive. It's just too expensive.
Yeah. It's but it's amazing how the world stops, how the
Mm.
world stops. Now they're concerned about the penguins because the ice melting. So they're all worried. Oh my God, that beautiful penguins. So they're going to dump a lot of money into the studies to preserve these penguins. I love penguins, don't get me wrong. But what about all our starving humans? What about our disabled veterans that are living in the streets?
Mhm.
What about our kupuna who cannot pay for their medicine? They got to choose between food or medicine. What about those guys? And you guys worried about a freaking penguin? A freaking penguin, a shearwater, all of these things, and yet we watch our own loved ones, heroes, kupuna, watching them die because we no more money. Oh, funding cut, funding cut. But boy, you just got to find one species of non-human, and some university or some nonprofit is going to get a multi-million dollar grant to go find out why this species do what they do. And we cannot take care of our own humans. Disgraceful. Disgraceful.
A study needs to be done where they poll the vast majority of the people that live on island and ask them, show them pictures and tell them, okay, what is this type of bird? What is, I'll bet you we have less than 20% have less than, because many of us, I'm sorry, I'm just one of those that, hey, I respect all life. I just don't care about the birds. I'm not going out of my way to kill them, that's for sure. But no, make me waste time when I got other things to worry about, such as human life. And while we're covering that topic, I want everybody to realize something too. We gotta be mindful, we get these hard workers at the airport. They called Roberts, Hawaii. These poor people have an iPad, and they are tasked with looking at everyone that comes from the mainland who had their information uploaded into the Safe Travels app program. Okay, the Safe Travels program through their app, and all they have. These are not trained doctors. These are screeners. These are screeners, and you know what happens is they look at the information that comes off of the screen, because there is an entity that takes all this uploaded information, vets it, and whether you're good or not, and you go from there. But many don't know the heartaches that these people, these workers, got to go through. And a person, for some reason or another, show that they uploaded their info. It's just the information didn't come back, and they get unnecessarily spat at, yelled at, all of this kind of stuff, and it's not their fault. And yet, the enforcement side of it, there's nothing, unless somebody calls. And even at that, you remember when you first started, you had the National Guard, you had the health department, you have the police department. You don't have that anymore. So who do they put it on? They put it on the backs of airport security, okay, and airport police. That's us, and Roberts. So when you get some of these instances where the information hasn't populated yet, right, to give a result, the person you're dealing with, what do you tell them? You tell them what? I'm sorry, it shows you uploaded your info, but it's just not giving me the answer. Well, can I go? No, you can't. You got to stay right here. But I need to go. Okay, you go, but you got to quarantine for the next 10 days. Wait a minute. I did everything you said. Can I go? That's the only options you get. And guess what happened? They call somebody like me in, that I got to do my thing, which I regret. But hey, that's just the rules. I escort you to the counter, we buy a ticket, and you fly back. So there's a lot of disconnects going on over here. And to me, that is where the state has to take a little bit more interest, vested interest, in kind of helping us out and saying, hey, are we going to do this, or are we going to do that, or what are we going to do? But just don't come under the assumption that we know what to do. That's the problem. That is the problem.
Well, the solution is so simple. It's you have them get everything squared away before they get on an airplane, right? I mean,
Exactly.
when we're talking about travel, again, Charlie, we almost 2 years into this, so I can see early on. Okay, we're learning, like okay, that's not working, and like, for the exact reason you just talked about, it's not working. But by now, you would think they would have very simple, yeah, national mandate, federal mandate. You get your shit together before you get on the plane, so that we know you're not bringing virus,
You don't deal with it
and
after.
not after you land. And
Yeah.
if you touch on Roberts, one Hawaiian, one United, you touch on employee, it's a felony and you go to prison. They should bring one container of cells to the airport, and they go straight into the cell, no AC, small window, and you know, but no, see, Charlie, we knew from the beginning, right, from March of 2020, when the governor made his first press conference, he said, "We don't want to inconvenience the visitor." I can replay that. I can go get it and replay it if you guys didn't ever see it. But that's what we knew from that day forward, that this was all being done to for the tourists, for the visitor industry. And that's what it is. They don't want to inconvenience them. So, listen, if you cannot get your tests in time, your test results in time, and by the way, they should be testing everybody. then you don't get on the plane. Yeah, you wait until you get your test result, and then it's scanned at the departing airport. Then you don't need to check nobody in the arriving airport, right? Because they're not going to be on the plane if they never get cleared. That's one Portuguese solution, Charlie. It doesn't take much intelligence to figure it out. Is there going to be long lines on the departure airport? Yeah. So come early. Come
Ask
early.
yourself, 2 years ago when this all started, did they have wristbands in effect at that time?
Nope.
So somehow wristbands will evolve over time. And all it took was a certain color of wristband to be put on to get you to go into this lane. No wristband, you stay in that lane and you wait there forever until hell freezes over. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And then here's the best part. Sometimes you get families, some get wristbands, some no more. What do you want us to do? You know what does I guess I'm just getting frustrated to think what do they want us to do? We want to do what is right, but you got to give better guidance because we know how to enforce. That's what we get paid to do, enforcement. But a question came up, okay, and it went like this.
Wait, Charlie, this kind of wristbands.
Yeah, that kind you can buy right there.
That's the one. Yeah. So yeah, you buy them for $14.49. You get all the colors that they make, and
Yep.
then you take them with you, and then you just look. Oh, they're giving away the red one, or they're giving away the blue one. You might have to buy one purple one, but that one you can buy separately.
Yeah.
But you can just go on Amazon right here and look at all the colors of the. Oh, they're a purple. They're a purple. So we all covered now.
Hmm.
So I can go through that place and and get it done, man. That's the Pippa wristbands.
Yeah. So that's the part that I want people out there to understand. You know, we got to make second decisions, and sometimes it's not the most popular, but that's the cards that we're dealt with, and that's all we have. I wish there was more options, and there's just isn't. So you're right. They need to do it before they get on the plane, so we can because who wants to fly all the way over here only to find out they didn't go to the right testing lab?
Hmm.
They're certified under that state's rules and regs, but they're not certified for Hawaii. Hey, Hawaii, put out one. Just explain better exactly why this lab. They use that CLIA clearance, right?
Hmm.
Certification of that lab. Okay, plenty of labs get clear, but just because they're not in that group of, hey, I know you group, you can. I would think you can use them, but no, you cannot use them. I actually
George
seen
White.
I actually seen a girl come with her family to celebrate. She just graduated from college. Her whole trip ruined because never put in a proper. I mean, you know how painful that is. Spend almost what 5-6 grand to come to Hawaii.
A trip to remember.
Well,
Happy graduation. George White brings up a good point where the airline for the international travel, the pre-travel testing and vaccine, all handled by the airlines. That was one of the things the federal government required. Okay, so we know it can be done. And the airlines, listen, who makes the money? The airlines, right? So the airlines should be raising their hand. We'll take care of it, Governor. We'll take care of it. We want to help. We want to be a. Remember when they said the airlines were very cooperative? They ain't cooperative. Cooperative, they're not. They want to fill their planes, and that's what they do. That's what businesses do, right? And can
yeah,
you really fault them when you have a weak ass governor that is more concerned about not inconveniencing tourists that won't let these things go by, and that's how we get the virus in. That's how we get the variants in. So, yeah, It would be very, very simple to put it on the airlines. Put it on the airlines, and
Right.
you may have to go hire. You like boost the economy. You go hire a few more people to go process all these departures. And that's how it should be done. And then no more these problems at the arriving airports. So anyway,
No, there's
again,
a lot of things that things morphed or evolved as time went on to benefit one over the other. Here's another good example. Remember before we saying about testing, you gotta test a lot, but we were told there's not enough testing. That's why we cannot
yeah,
test a lot. Then as soon as everything started to pick up steam, we get testing at the airports, we get testing over here, we get testing over there. That's
yeah.
it. All of a sudden, you just went talk smack 2 weeks ago. No more enough testing, and now testing is just like you water someplace, boom, and test kit pop up. We started to pop up all over the damn place. I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
here we go again." So,
And I think that's, in that sense, that's where Veronica makes a good point about how these guys do things. Government does it so stupid, because then I don't think they are truly honest and transparent with the people. I honestly don't believe they are,
mhm.
as it relates to COVID, and that's sad. And it's sad because I think we could have been in a much better spot today if we did it right from the beginning. So anyway, wow, Charles, it's
Yeah.
8 o'clock, bro.
Well,
It
we
is eight
started we
o'clock.
started a little later, but you know, yeah. And I'm glad you allowed me to get some things off my chest, not all.
Oh,
But
go for it, man. What else you get? I want to piss you off. I want to see you get angry for once.
as you get older, you just don't want to get angry. You see, well, we've kind of been in a position. We've seen a lot. You know, I will tell you this though. I will tell you this. I think in my career previously as a medical examiner investigator, I saw a lot of sad times when someone passed away at home, no family around. What a feeling. I looked at that and I literally cried because there's no one I can call to let them know that their loved one has passed away. I know that I'm going to have to take that person back with me, and I know that they'll probably stay until such time Quest makes a decision to take care of the arrangements. But you know how sad that's somebody's loved one. So one of the things I would like to share. I mean, they say it's not good to talk about it, but if you don't have a funeral plan, if you don't have a plan to notify someone, take a Ziploc bag, write down the information, zip it up tight, and leave it in your drawer. So if anything happens, people in the profession can find someone. Don't let your loved one go out there in no man's land because maybe they've been estranged from their family for some time. But come on, folks, we all have loved ones or we have friends. It's very, very important to leave that information with somebody so we can call somebody. And I tell you, remember I told you before, Mel, when you average close to 400 deaths a year and investigating those deaths, you get numb after a while. But one thing that still affects me is the fact that I came across someone who we couldn't find a family member, and it hurts. It hurts. I want everybody to. I want everybody to be, a family member to be notified.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Um, I will post this one up here, Michael Saunders. Last thing, Kauai County has the lowest initiated for vaccination in 1 month. Will be the least fully vaccinated county. Please help community get vaccinated. All right, just a friendly reminder. PSA from Michael Saunders. Thank you for that. I mean, I think it's important that we keep ourselves safe. Part of my thing, the village, stay safe, share aloha. I mean, I think that's what we try to promote. Sometimes we get a little upset, but it's all about taking care of everybody in and out of the village. We want to spread this message out to people just to be safe. You know, just to be safe, guys. We want to get through this with the least amount of people getting sick and dying. Every day when I hear about someone that I know get COVID, you just pray hard. That I hope this one is not the one that gets really sick or dies. And again, I don't like to separate vaccinated and unvaccinated. We're all in this village together, and we gotta protect each other, regardless of your vaccination status. Regardless of your vaccination status, but understand that you stand a much better chance with the vaccination. So anyway, Charles, thank you again, bro. Um,
You're
I
welcome,
gotta
brother.
go. I gotta go run down to the gas station down the road real quick for buy me some chips, or mochi crunch, or actually I get mochi crunch. So hang on, Charlie. What's your final thoughts, Charlie?
Well, my final thoughts is to all of you. Thank you for sticking around. Yeah, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes we don't make sense, but we try to deal with the real world as it is. If if I'm if I may, I'd like to say my stinginess in me is that I just want everyone to be safe. I want everybody to enjoy. If you've never had the opportunity to get a new lease on life, I'll tell you, being one of those who have had that opportunity, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. I miss my family dearly. So if you have families out there you haven't seen in a while, give them a call. Tell them you love them. Tell them that hopefully you'll see them soon. But don't let time slip by, and don't make up excuses either. We always can see our family and friends. Okay, we always can make time. Okay, just don't make up any excuses, because if you lose that time, I'm afraid you may never get it back. Okay? So that's my final thoughts today, Mel. Oh yes, yes.
As you, I just have to do this, Charlie, because you make it sound so good. Do you hear the crunch? Uh
Yep, yep.
oh. Uh oh.
But that's mm.
No. I tell you what, man. I think I dropped one. I don't know where it went, but anyway, guys.
That's one thing I didn't do tonight,
What?
and that is drop one single mochi crunch.
I, I felt it. It might have fallen right back in the bag. I don't know. Anyway, folks, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
It's always a pleasure, Charlie. Mahalo. Appreciate you rushing home to.
not a problem.
Charlie crunches louder.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Okay, hang on. Now, see, I'm a competitor, so I'm gonna have to go down to my mic.
Okay, you stay right there. Here. No, okay, that's good. No.
That's good. Damn. Whose is louder, guys? Whose is louder?
Mm.
Can somebody tell me who's louder? Is it Charlie or Mike Crunch? Whose is louder?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, hang on. Okay, I gotta take this off because this little sock. This they still say it's Charlie.
Oh,
Charlie, you win. Charlie, you win. Charlie. cannot believe
Thank
you
you.
win. All right, folks.
All
So
my
whatever you
loving
guys.
fans, thank you. We'll have a Mochi Crunch after party. How's that?
Hang on. Now I gotta
Yeah.
wash that down with some nice warm coffee. Mm. All right, folks. Thank you all. We love you guys. Stay safe. Spread the word. Spread
Yes.
the word until next time. Ahui ho. We love you guys. Take care. God bless.
Aloha.